Hello. I'd like to talk today about discipleship. It's such an important part of a devotee's life. We can go so much on our own, but then we need the help of the great masters. I remember as I was growing up, I always felt I had to struggle. I had to really use my will. I had to work harder than most people. This is at least what I felt as I was growing up as a child in the neighborhood that I was in. When I would go to school, I had to really work hard to understand the concepts, to get good grades. I had to use my will. When I went to college, a difficult college, I had to work really, really hard to get out of that college and not flunk out. And I remember at a certain point in my life, once I was out of college, I started wondering, there must be more to life. What is more? What is there trying to happen in my life? Who am I? Where am I going? What can I do with my life? And I remember one night I cried all night long, and I just kept calling out. I knew nothing about these teachings at all, but my heart was yearning for truth, yearning for light, yearning to get out of delusion. I was in my early 20s, maybe 21, 22 years old. And I feel that that was my first answered prayer, because the very next day I was working in my job. I was working with some children in social services, and I went into a grocery store to buy some things for them. And I saw this book that was on the checkout counter, a little pamphlet, and it said meditation. And I felt, oh my gosh, what is that about? I didn't know anything about meditation. But I went there and I bought the book, and then I was sitting at my lunchtime, and lo and behold, what happened? There was someone sitting just down from where I was, and that person was meditating. I just couldn't believe it. I started believing in God right at that point, and I knew he wasn't sleeping because he was sitting upright, just like in the book. I was looking at the book, I was looking at him. I went over and I said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I'll never forget. He opened his eyes. He says, "Well, I was meditating." I said, "I'm just reading about meditation. I so longed to meditate. This must have been samskars from other lifetimes." Within 1 week, I was bringing my offerings of fruits and flowers. I learned a mantra, and what I learned was transcendental meditation. I practiced that for a short time. And then this man and his mother, she was maybe in her 70s, 80s, very deep souls. She and he gave me Master's book, Autobiography of a Yogi. And I saw the picture of Master on that book, and something was drawing me. I read it, and much of it went over my head. I didn't know what to make of it. All the different miracles, and one man with two bodies, and one man levitating, and the saints who never ate. And I was enthralled by the book, but I didn't understand a word really. But Master won my heart. And then soon after, I heard about Swami Kriyananda and how he trains people, and Master's teachings, how there's people who live in a community together. They serve, they understand, they take classes in Master's teachings. And I went up there early on in my search, and I met Swami Kriyananda. And Swami Kriyananda looked at me the very first time, and he said, "This is your home. You should think about living here." And I thought to myself, I would never live here. It was just too rustic. I was too used to the city life. But that passed, and I did move there. And I remember going to Swamiji. We had city centers in cities in San Francisco, Palo Alto. And I lived in those for a while. And I remember one of those places, I went to Swami Kriyanandaji, and I said, "Swamiji, I feel that Master has sent me to you for training. Would you train me?" And he took the responsibility very seriously. And he said, "Yes, I will." And then from then on, I felt my life had changed. I learned so much from Ananda and from Swamiji. I learned how to do Kriya Yoga. I learned how to do all the techniques. I learned how to energize properly. I remember he said to me once, "Do you energize?" And I couldn't tell a lie. I said, "No, sir, I don't really enjoy energization." He said, you must do it." And so I promised him I would, so I began energization. Of course, I learned to love it. And then I learned how to chant. I learned his music and I sang in the choir. I learned all the various things of the path. I learned so many things about the spiritual path from Swami Kriyanandaji. And I felt I finally had help. I didn't have to push myself so much. All the masters were there. Swamiji was there. All my Guru Bhais, the whole community. I learned how to chant. I learned how to sing in the choir. I learned how to serve. And that was so important for me. And Swamiji sent me, you could see in my heart, I wanted to help other people. I was soon after, within the first few years, I was sent to Europe with some others to help found our work there. That was a wonderful time of serving our Guru. 7 years I was there. Right after I went to Nigeria, Zimbabwe, South Africa, teaching Master's teachings there. I came back to America and I helped there as much as I could. Then I also went to Australia for a couple of months serving my Guru. And now I'm in India. And I've been here for almost 16 years with Master's teachings. It's been a very, very blessed life. Serving God, serving the Gurus under the guidance of Swami Kriyanandaji. And one wonderful bonus for me has been, at first my family was so against what I was doing. Why are you throwing your life away? You're wasting your life. Who is that person up there, Swami Kriyanandaji? Who are those yogis that you go and visit with and now you're living there? And that went on and I just said, no, this is my Guru, this is my path, Swamiji is my teacher. And lo and behold, it took some time, but they all turned around from what they could see in my eyes, what they could see in my face, what they could see how beautiful my life was, dedicated to serving God, to serving my Guru, and serving mankind. God bless you all.